the Best You podcast. The sole purpose of this podcast is to teach, inspire, and motivate everyone to be the best versions of themselves. What's up, everyone? Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Be the Best You podcast. I'm your host, Larry Dawson. If you're watching or listening today, please make sure you take the time to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you think about this show, the other shows, and maybe what you would like for us to talk about in upcoming shows. I'm not going to be long today, man. I just have a quick message that I wanted to deliver to you guys, and that is be thankful, be blessed, and have peace in your life, your mind, and your heart. You know, when I started this podcast, you heard me talk about the trifecta and how I believe to be the best version of yourself, that you have to be on point mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that's the only way you can have true peace in your heart, in your life, in your mind, in your daily living, and be thankful and be blessed. Too much of what I see throughout of life here in America is people trying to out-victim each other. It's a very victim mentality mindset that we have these days. Everybody's trying to out-victim the next person. Everyone's upset about something. Everyone's trying to cancel someone or something. No one's happy in their life, in their job, in their marriage, in their friendships, who they are. It just seems like people are just very unhappy all around in a lot of different ways. And I think people aren't understanding what life is all about. And people get caught up worrying about the wrong things, worrying about social media, worrying about what other people think about them, worrying about relationships or keeping up with the Joneses, or possessions like tennis shoes and cars and homes and certain types of clothes or bags or watches. All of that stuff doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of life. Not like your personal peace and happiness. And none of those things can bring you personal peace and happiness. All they can bring you is small endorphin hits that last a few moments in time before they pass, and you want more, and those cravings continue. There's no real happiness in that. There's no real contentment in that. There's no thankfulness and bliss in that. I would suggest people go back to the drawing board. My grandfather used to always have this saying, and he would say sometimes you just have to eliminate everything and go back to the basics. I think that's what a lot of people need to do with their life. They need to eliminate a lot of things, a lot of distractions, and a lot of their ways of thinking, and go back to the basics and think about, I'm healthy, I'm alive. I don't have any physical or mental defects that stops me from being the best version of myself. Really, the worst enemy that I have is myself and the way that I treat myself, because I'm actually healthy. My limbs work, my eyes, my ears, my body functions, my mind functions. So I have the ability to do anything. I don't have any limitations. And here's the crazy thing. Most people that I know that do have some of the limitations that I mentioned, they actually are thankful and blessed in life, and they actually live pretty good lives and push through it. It's the majority of people that don't, that are, in this woe is me type of mentality and attitude. I think we need to be thankful for the small things. Go back, be thankful for the things I just mentioned, and being healthy and being alive. Nature, water, life, friends and family, being healthy, just having a job or a home or a car, or being able to save money in a bank. Basic things that we should be thankful for that we're not on a regular basis. Obviously, I'm at a point in my life now where I have certain possessions and I can live my life a certain way, but some of the most simplest things are still what keeps me happy. Whether it's going and laying in my hammock for an hour out back, in the evening time, 6 to 7, and just enjoying the wind and hearing the birds and seeing the trees and looking at the sky and just laying on my hammock, or whether it's, laying in bed holding my wife in my arms, or just going down to the water and just staring off to the water, just clearing my mind, getting a good workout in, having a good conversation with someone, helping a stranger, just being kind, just putting good energy out there. the small things, man, can make you happier than, the things you're looking for. I'm going to run out and I'm going to buy this $1,500 bag so I can say I got this blah, blah, blah bag. I'm not even going to give those brands any endorsements on my show by calling their names out. But, that keeping up with the Jones lifestyle sounds silly when I'm comparing it to, laying on a hammock. But, me laying on a hammock costs me nothing, and the enjoyment and the bliss that I get out of that is better than what someone's getting spending $1,500 of their money or putting it on a credit card and making themselves more miserable by going into debt. I don't understand people's mindsets or actions. I just think that we're a little lost, and social media and reality television has almost like pouring gasoline on that fire. And we need to get back to the basic things, loving ourselves first and foremost, understanding ourselves, what makes us happy, what makes us tick, who we are as individuals, loving your family, your wife, your husband, your kids, your parents, your siblings, being kind to, your coworkers, strangers, neighbors, people at the grocery store. Positivity breeds positivity, and negativity breeds negativity. So be careful of the energy you're putting out. Be careful of the thoughts you're allowing in your mind, because those thoughts you're allowing in your mind will manifest themselves into your reality. That's the power of the law of attraction. And unfortunately, we don't realize that. You ever heard the person's always having stuff wrong with them, and they're like, it's always something with me. It's always this or it's always that. I can't catch a break. I've always got this going on, and I've got that. That's what they're thinking, and that's what they're speaking, and that's the energy they're manifesting. So that energy continues to come at them. You have to break that cycle and break that way of thought. I really just want everyone to understand this and be more consciously aware of it, to have that true peace in your heart. You have to think clearly and have your mind focused and on point. You have to keep your physical being, with your working out, with your vitamins, with what you eat and put into your body, keeping yourself hydrated. So making sure your body's on point, and then making sure your spirit energy is on point, and that, you're focusing on the right things and not the wrong things, and being thankful and blessed for what you do have and the opportunities that you have and the life that you is blessed to live. I would like for everyone to take a time out, if you're listening or watching this, and ask yourself, what am I thankful for? What am I blessed to have? What am I, thankful to have in my life? Man, that's a lot of blessings once you start thinking about it. It could be something small as, I have my full hearing, and one of my best friends, he's partially deaf and he has to wear hearing aids. It's no knock to him, but that is something that, I don't want to say handicap, but it is something that he has to deal with on a regular basis. So when I sit back and think about my blessings, that sounds small and that's no knock to him. I'm thankful that I have full hearing and that I have the ability to not have to rely on devices to be able to hear clearly. So that is a blessing. Some people will think, oh man, that's nothing. I already have my... It is something. It is something. You've never had that taken away from you, but if you had that taken away from you, you would understand the blessing it is to be able to have that. And we don't think about the small things enough in life. I just wanted to point things out like that. And I know a lot of people that are like this. I actually know quite a few people that have kind and good hearts and are kind to others, but they don't treat themselves the best. And I want them to know when they're watching or listening to this, I'm directly talking to you as well, because you're just as guilty as the person that is not such a good person, but does a lot of the other things good. You just switch place with them. You're a good person that does a lot of the other things not so good. To fully be the best version of yourself and operating at the highest level, you have to be clear mentally, physically, and spiritually. Otherwise, you're like a car driving down the road with a flat tire or two. It's going, doo, 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 doo. It's not going to be a smooth ride. It's going to be constant bumping and tearing and ripping. I encourage everyone to soul check themselves and get their spirit, their mind, and their body on point to where it needs to be. I challenge everyone to be thankful and be blessed for the things that you do have in your life itself, and all the opportunities that you have every single day that you're alive and you're here on earth. We as people in this country, We are too negative. We are addicted to drama. We are unhealthy mentally and physically, financially, and so many other ways, especially spiritually. And we need to get that straightened out. Like my grandfather said, we need to go back to basics. We need to cut out all the distractions, go back to basics, get focused, get ourselves on point so we can live a good, healthy life and be the best versions of ourselves. If you're watching or listening today, please take this message to heart and ask yourself these questions. Soul check yourself, be honest with yourself, and make the proper changes going forward if the answers aren't the right answers. That way you can be the best version of yourself. So I ask everybody at the end of my episodes when they're guests, if you could give one piece of advice or one piece of motivation to anyone listening, because this is the Be the Best You podcast, what would it be? Today I'm going to give you guys one, and that is, I do this thing called I soul check myself, and I look in the mirror and I look in my eyes and I'm honest with myself, and I ask myself questions like, are you being a good father? Are you being the best husband you can be? Are you doing everything you can with your business? Are you trying every day to be a better person? Were you kind to a stranger today? Is there anything else you could be doing to be a better human being? And I'm honest with myself with these answers, and those answers allow me to make changes when need to be, and it keeps me honest with myself and it keeps me on point. I challenge everyone watching or listening to try it and to do the same thing and see how that works for you. Give it a shot every day for say 30 days and see if it helps your life in any type of way. I'm not going to keep you guys on here long today. Once again, if you're watching or listening, please make sure you take the time to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know what you thought about this show or what you would like to hear us talk about in the future, or maybe a guest you'd like to have on and you could hear me interview them. This has been another episode of the Be the Best You podcast. Until next time, try until you fly.